Hello and welcome to another edition of the ROKER Report Podcast. It's your old friend here, Connor, back for my first one in a long time after working for the football club. And we're here today with former Sunderland Manager and Chelsea legend as well, Gustavo Poyet. How's it going, Gus?
Nice to be with you. Everything all right? Just waiting now for the last few games of the season, European games and some playoff games, and pay attention to next season.
And what are you doing these days?
Well, I've been preparing to get back in the job. My first idea was to come back to England. I have to be honest, like I am. It's been a bit more difficult than I expected. There's been some decent and common sense, situations, but others that sometimes, you don't understand because football is changing and the ideas of the clubs, they are differently, and every situation is different. So if you try to be nowadays in any job, and football in particular, too selective, at the end it becomes very, very difficult to get the job that you will prefer.
So before we start talking about your time as Sunderland manager, I want to begin talking about your experiences playing against Sunderland. So there's two that stick in my head. One's a negative for Sunderland, which is the day you beat us 4-0 on the opening day of the season. But the other one's a game in December 1999 where Sunderland actually beat Chelsea 4-1. You did score the Chelsea goal that day, but you got any particular memories of them two matches?
Well, the first one, obviously, for two reasons. One is first game of the season. I know that people will always remember that my last goal, the kind of scissor kick or whatever it is, because it was special. But I have to be honest, I obviously I do remember that one. But for me, it was more important the first one of the four. When you start a new season at home, you want to win, you want to convince. So to open the score early in the first half is always very, very important. And to be, the man scoring the first goal as well, it's always bring, the responsibility in the team. Obviously, the fourth, it was, it was the last bit of things for a great day of, starting maybe too early for goal of the season, first game of a new season, but a very special one. That kind of bring you to, there is a moment in football where you need to start enjoying, because you play the game seriously and you play the game, with other responsibilities. And sometimes when it's too tight, the game, there is not too many people laughing or too many people enjoying because it's tension. Obviously, that 4-goal brought plenty of people, showing happiness and enjoyment. So it was a good day. Second one, tough. One of the worst first half moments I had in my career as a football player. For people to remember, we were losing only 4-0 at halftime. and it was good because I learned a lot that day. I learned from the manager, remember Gianluca Vialli, no speaking too much, but kind of meaning, okay, all the best. You 11, go back. You got 45 minutes to go. Like saying, you put us in this situation. Let's see what you do in the second half. I think at the end it has to make a change. I think John Terry came on for the side Leo for, I don't remember exactly who, but the idea of the manager was to leave the same 11 players to get really embarrassed in the second half. So I remember a small meeting between the players at halftime in the tunnel, just saying, let's try to win the second half. Let's try to forget about what happened, because it was tough and it was incredible for Sunderland. But for us in there, it was about pride and about doing something proper and not losing 6, 7, 8-0. And we went back, let's say, okay, I scored a goal at the end, but, to kind of make up the result. But it was about the worst of all. Sunderland had a kind of situation after the games that they were giving a bottle of champagne for the man of the match, the local, the Sunderland player, but also one for the away player. And I thought it was a joke, because, being in the situation that I was at halftime and coming someone from Sunderland telling me that I need to go to one of the restaurants to pick up a bottle of champagne for being man of the other team, the position or whatever, like you're thinking, this is a joke. I don't like it. Somebody doing something to me. But no, it was true. I had to go to this room full of people eating and drinking and just jump on top of a stage and get a bottle of champagne and put my head down and leave as soon as possible. So, yeah, it was a very strange day, that one.
At least you had something to drown your sorrows with on the long trip back.
Yes, well, no doubt. I mean, those trip backs is the one that you learn because you ask yourself plenty of questions. In that particular team of Chelsea, we were many characters that afterwards we were managers, which it make you talk about the game, discuss things, many things about the coach or about the decisions or about yourself, about the shape, about the opposition, about the approach. So many things that you talk to improve because you don't really want to get through another situation like that one. So we were a special group and probably help us, to get better.
Okay, so let's go to the start of your time at Sunderland, October 2013, nearly 7 years ago now, quite unbelievably. But you're announced as Sunderland's head coach, 2-year deal, just after we'd sacked Paulo Di Canio, obviously. But how soon after Paulo's departure were you contacted by the club to see if you were interested?
Well, like you were doing in an easier manner of those times, because now we change a little bit the approaches. We apply, we put the name. I don't remember exactly the days. Sorry, boys, I'm getting old. But a few days later or a week later, the owner called me into his house in London, and I met him for the first time, Mr. Eli Short, at his house in London, and we had a good meeting. And then, obviously, 2 or 3 days they went past. And then we had another meeting in a restaurant with my agent, and we started talking about the possibility and the negotiations. Then is when I tried to leave. I don't like to be present on negotiations, financial negotiations or any negotiations, because obviously there is certain things about yourself or about other managers that I shouldn't say. So it's not up to me to say it. That's to your agent, comparing clubs or comparing managers or situations to come to a decision in the contract. So I left and they finished the negotiation, and then they called me. I think it was the day after we lost. We lost the last two with a caretaker. And they called me after the second game. I think it was Arsenal and Manchester, so they were two tough games. And they said to me, okay, we need to go ahead with this, and we negotiated the last bits. And I think it was a Monday night that I drove up with my staff in the car, and we go to the training ground very late that day, and we started the next day.
So was that a negotiation mainly with Ellis Shaw, or did you have much contact with Roberto Di Fanti?
To be honest, I suppose that 90% it was with Ellis Shaw. Probably Roberto was involved in certain tactical and possible information, phone call I had with him. And then obviously when we got there, it's always something left for the last minute. You don't know why, but it's always happening in negotiations. And we met and we had a good chat, to finalize everything. And it was good. I mean, for you to know, there were many people telling me, don't go. It's too risky, too many issues. But I knew that to get in the Premiership, I would need to take a risk. I would need to believe in what I was doing and okay, the less risk possible, but that was the best opportunity at the moment and the only one. So I was not afraid whatsoever. I was convinced. I was coming from 4 years in a club where everything worked very well.
In your opening message to the fans, you said that I look forward to proving my ability to the fans. I want them to believe because we need to stick together. How important was it for you to get the fans on side as early as you possibly could? And did you look at them as a mechanism to build momentum?
Well, I wanted them to know me for myself and not for what people were saying. I wanted them to know that every club moves in a certain direction, and sometimes things that happened in the past, you need to move on, and there is new things, different things. I don't think you can say this is the right way to play football or that one is the right way. There is different ways of playing football and be successful. It's just a matter of how the coach, the manager, convince a group of players that it's possible, and the players, they got the ability to play that system. Obviously, I was checking a lot on the whole squad, which was big and very new for English football. I think Di Canio signed 14, 15 players, I think, that summer. So, when you're a new player into a new club and you start that badly, obviously you're confident and everything around you is not in the right place. So we needed to work a lot in the mental side and, saying, well, we start from zero. And the only thing that helped me a little bit was international week. So I had 2 weeks at least to train before playing the first game.
What was the expectation when you came in? Did Ellis say to you that he expected to survive, or was it a case of trying your best to survive, but ultimately you were there longer term, even if they got relegated?
Well, no, because one of important part of the negotiations, obviously too many things you cannot disclose, but this is a simple one. I signed 2 years, but with the option for the club that if we were getting relegated, they could let me go for free. So no pay me the second year. Okay. Obviously, being myself, I put a contract clause saying, okay, if I save you, I can leave as well, and I don't do the second year. Exactly the opposite, which the club agreed with any problem. So we had that kind of 7-month trial, like to know each other, to know if it was the right way to go forward, and many things. And I found it natural. Obviously, you would like to sign without any clauses, but again, I repeat, for me, it was a challenge. It was a great opportunity to get in the Premier League, and I knew what I wanted to do with the players that were there. And at that moment in time, I didn't see that clause as a problem at all. So depending how you take it, you can take it that they were trying to know me, or you can take me, okay, if you save us, you will stay. If you don't, maybe we get rid of you. It wasn't a problem for me. Absolutely no problem, because I always say that, when it's a doubt, give me 1 year. Give me 1 year, and at the end of the year, let's see who is in a better position, if you or me. It works both ways, no? If you do very, very well, then the club is in a difficult position because now you can go. So it's depending on how much you believe in yourself.
So we'll look now at sort of the first season you were there, and we'll start with actually the first training session. So what was your assessment of the squad on that first day at the Academy of Light?
Well, I think it was too big for what I like. Like I say, too many new players, which is, it could be great to make people, be in their toes because these new people and they can take your place, blah, 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 but there were too many. Obviously, the club was in a strange place because 6 months before it was Martin O'Neill, then Di Canio came in, completely opposite in terms of energy and the way he likes do things, and then 3 months later another manager is coming, so too many changes for the club. So it's a problem as well for the people working at the club, as you can imagine. Different approach to the players, different rules. I just try to make a message straight away that if the players that were not convinced that we had a chance to get away from the relegation, then I had no chance, because I'm telling you, the ones that play and they need to perform and do the right thing is the players. We help them, we put them on the pitch in the best possible conditions, our way, and then seriously, it's up to the players. Certain days things are gonna work, and certain days no, and then I need to be picking the right ones and using the best ones in the best moments and making strong decisions, because people doesn't remember normally about the good decisions or the ones that work it well. I'm not talking about good or bad, because again, a decision is good if it works well, if you win the game, if you achieve your goals. But then the decision look simple and then it goes against you. So they are important decisions. Normally they remember the bad ones, the ones that didn't work. But there were plenty of decisions to make.
Was there any particular players you were excited to work with when you took the job? Was there anyone you thought, oh, I can get something out of them?
Well, me, in my system, and probably you will know because in the beginning it was one player and then I used another one, and then I brought one. Is a defensive central midfielder, and I started a lot with the Key, which I think is an exceptional player, absolutely exceptional player. He understands very well, and then later on, that position was I used mostly Lee Cattermole, we started having a very good relationship, in terms of football, because of what I needed from that role and how much he embraced that role of playing in that position. So, but then there were many, I knew most of the players, the ex-Man United players, and people that I knew from the past. I had the chance to bring back from, we call him from the dark, to Phil Barnsley and I think Lee Cattermole was away, like separated from the team, and we brought him back and we said, okay, we start again. Show me, show me if the darkness where you were last week is not your right place, or maybe you deserve a different chance. And those players, they really took the opportunity very, very well.
So your first game was it was a horrible afternoon, 4-0 against Swansea.
To be honest, at halftime, 0-0, I was thinking, okay, they got something. When you think, I don't know how much, but something is getting there. The problem it was a possibility, but I didn't know exactly at the time. It was after conceding one goal, how the team will collapse. Because it was like that. It was first goal in, and the team completely collapsed. And I'm not talking about player, I'm talking about the team, the whole team.
Yes, 3 goals in 7 minutes.
So that give you more information that maybe you have an idea, but you didn't know it was that bad, okay? Because that make you think, okay, we need to work on that, but also we need to try not to get 1-0 down, to get ahead on the game, to do things to make them be positive and going forward. So it was an issue. I think it was important for the players as well, because the players, they're probably thinking, okay, with Martin O'Neill, we were struggling. He's coming the Caño. We win one game, we get safe. Oof. We go to the summer. We come back, we start terrible. They change the manager. The new manager is coming, and in 20 minutes, we conceded 4. So, we got a problem here. and maybe it's not that much the manager. The manager can help. But so I think it was important for the players as well. And obviously, you need something to happen, and probably we'll talk next. Having your second game or your first game at home, the derby, is only one way that you can go forward, and it means winning.
What did you know about the Sunderland Newcastle game? Because obviously, as a Southern-based player, when you're in England, you might not know the rivalry. Were you surprised about how sort of ferocious the game was?
I was a little bit surprised. I knew, I didn't know exactly how big it was, how much it meant. I can say to you that in my second week, I think it was, before we played Swansea, I was in the car coming back from the training ground like at 5 or 6 in the afternoon, 6 p.m. And a car stopped next to us in the traffic light at Sunderland. And the guy pulled the window down and said to me, Gus, he said, please, stay up, but even more important, beat Newcastle. Please, don't lose against Newcastle. And, it was like, we look each other with Tarico, my assistant, and we say, okay, we know what we need to do. We need to stay up and beat Newcastle. And that's it. That's our goal, because that's what the fans want, and that's what the chairman kind of agree with me. So, and our goal was clear from the first day, but even more after a week living in Sunderland.
What do you remember about the way that the team was preparing for the game that week? Because I know when we've played them, that was the beginning of a run of 6 straight wins against Newcastle. Players like Lee Cattermole, Seb Lawson, Phil Bardsley, John O'Shea, they were big part of them games. Did you notice them sort of getting the team prepared professionally, different to maybe a normal game?
Yes, for many reasons. One, you don't need to put any motivation in training because the players are flying. Secondly, we pay attention to certain things that we improve from my point of view, tactical point of view. And maybe you cannot see those things. The first half against Swansea and what happened in the second half, to repeat it for 90 minutes. And then obviously to pick up the right team and work a little bit in certain situations, like the set plays, the first goal or things like that. But then you need things to happen, because obviously I didn't train Fabio Borini goal. That's the ability of a player. That's the quality of someone doing something special at the right time. And that's what I say to you, that we can do a lot of the managers, but then you need someone to stand up. And I thought we were controlling the game. We were up for it. When the goal of Newcastle came, I tried to influence the game, obviously, because I thought, okay, I don't want this to be like last week. 1 goal, 4 goals, yeah, 1 and 3 consecutive. So we try to, make things and talk to them and make a change and things like that for them to keep believing. And obviously, probably one of the key moments of the season for me and for Sunderland is Fabio Borini's goal.
What do you think would have happened if we didn't get the win of that game, or even worse, Newcastle won the game? Do you think you would have been doomed before you even got going?
Well, for sure it would be a step back. For sure it would be no... when you sack a manager, you want a reaction from the players. You want a shock. And that needs to happen in the first 2 or 3 games. If it doesn't happen, you didn't make any impact. And there was no better impact than winning the derby. We were rock bottom, 1 point from 8 games. So we were, maybe for the first time in many, many games, no favorites or whatsoever against Newcastle, even if we were playing at home. So the biggest impact you can have in a team is that. And I tell you, those games brings people together, brings players together, brings fans and players together, brings, staff and players together. And that helps you a lot for the future, but a lot.
You brought on Ki-Sung Young and Fabio Borini with 20 minutes left. What was sort of the thinking behind that? Do you think they were going to make a big impact for you, or were we just kind of hoping for the best?
Well, I was already thinking about playing Fabio Borini on the left in a 4-3-3 with a striker coming out from the wide areas, and that was something that we were planning for the next few games. We were working on it, and obviously the key situation is about the ball. If you don't want to let Newcastle to come over you then and take advantage of that situation of the weakness of conceding a goal, it was okay. Let's get the ball. Let's have it. The best player at the club having the ball at the time, with any doubt, it was Key. So Key plus a striker, helping us to look for the goal. I thought it was quite common sense. Nothing very, very difficult to understand. It was, for me, something simple. But that's something that works naturally, and the managers, you know why you're doing things, and you try to do it as soon as you can without making any mistakes.
Final thing on the 2-1 win. How did you feel, firstly, when Fabio Borini did score what turned out to be the winner and you saw the crowd go crazy? And also, how did you feel at full time when we actually did win the game? We got the monkey off our back and it looked like, we might actually have a chance of surviving.
Well, my idea, halftime was difficult because I needed to stay calm and shake hands with Alan Pardew and then celebrate, which is tough because you want to celebrate straight away, no? As soon as the whistle goes, you want to run around the pitch, but you need to respect the opposition. And it was quite strange. I think there is some pictures of that. I go to shake hands, I come back and I kind of celebrate a little bit with the fans behind the bench. And then straight away, I think 3-4 seconds, I left because I needed the players to connect with the fans. I don't know if you get what I mean. That connection between fans and players is the one that brings something extra. Is that the one when we say the fans are the number 12 on the pitch, is the one that they push the team in difficult moments or they help you when you need that extra support. So I thought it was a good moment to let them stay. Obviously, I had that, reaction after shaking hands, like, yes, thank you. And then as soon as I went, with the fans behind the bench, I realized and I said, I need to go. And I left. And I went to my room and we were jumping up and down with Tano and company and Charlie Owen and, all the stuff. It was a good moment because at that time we say, yes, it's going to work. Yes, we can do it, even if it's early doors.
From that point, we didn't sort of hit the form we wanted. The whole game came afterwards and we were down at 9 minute half time. We lost the game. We played okay, to be fair, but we ended up losing the game. We only won 2 games before the January transfer window as well. Was it a struggle for you, the fact we weren't able to hit the ground running after the Newcastle game, or did you see progress even if the results weren't necessarily coming?
I think we were a little bit more difficult to beat. Normally when you start organizing a team in pre-season, you start from the back and slowly you go growing, and bringing different things in offensive. It's very difficult to start, making the team from the front and then working backwards. I don't know, some people can do it. I prefer not. So I thought the team it was more organized. The whole squad was getting the information better, and they were saying that it was working. For example, the second half against Hull, when we are down to 9 and we don't concede and we nearly score, give the players that believe, oh, okay, we can defend with 9 as well. So there is certain things that the players, they get convinced slowly and they get into their system. In the cup, I was changing players and the team was performing more or less the same. There was no big deals. Then obviously I had to use the keys, the Borinis, against Chelsea to get back in the game. But I thought we were getting better in organization, but the points, they were not still there. So we needed, a good run of games that strangely came at the most difficult time, after just before Christmas and after Christmas.
And you mentioned a little bit about the League Cup there, but do you think those League Cup games helped to sort of take the negativity away from not necessarily getting the right results in the league? Because we were still, as you say, we were actually still winning games. It just wasn't necessarily coming in the league.
Yes, I was convinced at that time, and I'm going to tell you how simple it is. I was convinced that the cup was helping us a lot. Okay, what I didn't know that at that time it was that qualifying for the final, it would be that bad. It would be that terrible for us. I thought that all the process, the Southampton game, the Chelsea game, the 2 games against Manchester, definitely were helping the team to get together, to get wins, to celebrate, to get confidence, to show that we were able to do it. Certain things that they need to prove himself, the team, to be better. The problem was after. The problem was, 3 weeks before the final and the following 4 weeks or so after the final, that we couldn't win a football game. And that shows you how the mental side of a football player works. When you go to a final, the final becomes the most important part of your season, when we all know that the most important is the league. So it was good. I think that without the cup, probably we wouldn't win 4-1 Fulham. We wouldn't win 3-0 Newcastle. We do, many things that happened during that period of end of December and January.
And let's talk a little bit now about things improving in January. We picked up some good results that month. You mentioned a few of them there, but I also want to talk about those League Cup semi-finals against Manchester United. So, what was your feeling, particularly the away leg, where we had 9,000 fans there? It felt like a big night for Sunderland. It turned out it really was. But what were your emotions that night, particularly with Bardsley scoring that, I would say, brilliant goal, but I think that's probably not a fair way of putting it. But how did you feel that night and all the emotions that went through that game?
Well, it was one of the most difficult, emotional days of my career as a coach, because so many things are happening, so many little time. The game was what we were expected. I think we were just okay. Something was missing. So just before then, we throw everything possible to go and get the goal to qualify. And when you get the goal that late, it should be it. That's it. We qualify. See you later. It finished. But they moved from the middle of the park, and we couldn't get out. We needed to clear that ball, and the game was over. And it was not possible. Unfortunately, Chicharito scored, and we went into the penalties. Because normally when you score that late in an extra time, like I said, normally the game is over. It doesn't go too much after the 120 minutes. But unfortunately, we couldn't deal with that. Then the penalties come. We were short of 2 or 3. To be honest, to the player, for the first time in my career, too many wanted to take. Too many. Normally you don't have enough, but here there were too many. Everybody agreed that Craig Gardner needed to take the first one. Fletch asked me for the second. And it was funny because Marcos Alonso, I put him on. I didn't see him taking too many penalties, but I saw him taking free kicks, so I thought it was a good one. And then Phil Barnsley was desperate to take one. Now, when we get into that point, I'm thinking, wait a moment, gents. Key took a penalty at Everton, and we won 1-0, in around Christmas, in Boxing Day. So Key needs to take a penalty inside the 5. And Key was looking at me like, okay, I don't bother. It wasn't that he wanted really to put his hand crazy. It was a natural for him. So I said, I'm sorry, Key's taking one. So I needed to take one out. Now, Phil Barnsley was, the adrenaline in the body of Phil Barney after scoring the goal, it was incredible. But at the same time, probably conceding after, everything got confused. So I said, listen, Phil, you take the 6. And he was very disappointed, to be honest. So then I don't know if you remember, I went to one side towards the penalty and Craig missed, and then Manchester missed. I said, okay. And then Fletch missed. And when Manchester United scored, I go to the fitness coach and I'm thinking, oh my God, we were through 5 minutes ago and now we cannot score a penalty. So it was it's going to be difficult days. And then Key scored and they missed. And then Marcos Alonso scored and they missed. And then got the penalty to get through and he missed. And you were thinking, what is going on in here? It's like we don't want to win. Fortunately, looking like Manchester, they didn't want to win even more than us because they scored only 1 penalty from 5, which was incredible. And it brought, again, I had to stay calm, shake hands with David Moyes, went across a few players of Manchester United trying to celebrate, but then it was impossible not to go to that corner. That was, to be away from home, I don't remember too many, except in finals, you can play, that your club have half of the stadium for you. A cup game away from home with so many people celebrating like that, I don't think I even have it as a player. It was incredible. It was. We didn't want that to end. When you went to stay on the pitch for an hour, we didn't care. It was spectacular, and that was very, very important for the players. Very, very important. You don't imagine how important it was. I think to resume it, I think is a video of that from Sunderland webpage. That he said, "Can you believe it? Bottom of the table, and in a final against the Pro League champion." So it was quite a special moment and unforgettable. Yes.
So what did you, as a team, do that night? Did you all just have drinks on the bus, or were you thinking, we're going to worry about the next game that was coming up?
They asked me, the players, can we get a few drinks from the bar, from the players' bar? And I said, yeah, go on, do whatever you like tonight. I don't care. I needed to relax as well. I remember because I was trying not to turn my head back, looking at the back of the bus. There is better not to see it, what is going on at the back with the music and with everything. But I remember that they came and they gave me a beer as well. I said, come on, have one beer. And we had a beer together. But it was like I said, those moments, they are very important for the team because they make you closer, players with players, players with fans with the staff. Everybody gets together, gets very close to each other.
So the January transfer window, you brought in a few players: Marcos Alonso, Santiago Virginia, Oscar Starry, Ignacio Scocco. What was your thinking behind bringing them players in, and why do you think that, apart from Marcos and Santiago, the other two didn't quite work out?
Well, I think the situation was, we knew that a few players that wanted to leave. We knew that we needed to inject something. We had a way of understanding football and, wanted to play. And we were convinced that we needed something extra, especially, in the position of the left back. And I knew Marcos from previous years at Bolton before he went to Fiorentina. Nacho Scocco at that time, it was a player that everyone in the world wanted to sign. Unfortunately, and I don't have words to explain it, but it didn't work for him at Sunderland. It didn't work for many, many reasons, but better not to talk because they sound like excuses, but it happened in football when a foreign player doesn't adapt to a place or to the way that the team plays. Santi Virginia gave us an incredible hand. For you to know, Santi played most of his life as a central defender and a few games as a right back. Before going into the miracle end of the season, Phil Barnsley suspended 2 games, I think, and Cheluska is injured and we need a right back. And I asked him, I said, Santi, listen, I need a favor from you. I need you to play right back. And he said to me, no problem. I said, but you know that the next 2 games is Man City away and Chelsea away. Like saying, I want you to know before you say yes. Santi was a great lad. And I couldn't change him after. I had to, I left him the whole end of the season because of what he done for us. He put the team ahead of the personal reasons. So it was very, very, well respected in the dressing room because he's a nice lad. He's nice. He's a nice person. He doesn't have any bad side of him. So the idea was not to stand still, The idea was to bring people to help you, get out and to bring other players up as well. More competition, which is always important.
I want to talk now about the game at St James's Park, where I would argue that was probably the most perfect performance I think you had as Sunderland manager. But what was it like for you to have tactically masterminded this game, which I think is the perfect, it was symbolic of what you were as a manager. It felt to me like that game was you as a football manager if everything went perfect.
Well, like I said to you, the team was up to the end of nearly the end of December was getting better in terms of organization, but we were missing something, and that something was the confidence to the certain players to produce, to be to take risks in the last third, to believe in their ability. Yeah, because you can be a top team, but then you need certain quality to open up the opposite teams. And we knew exactly what would happen to Newcastle. So we knew where we were able to hurt them and how we had to play the game. Then you can be, or you can think that you plan a game fantastic, and then you go to the game and nothing happened. And you try to analyze what happened, why it didn't work, why. This is what you said. This is when you plan something, you pick up the team, and everything roll. I'll make you an example. For me, it was the best game that Josie Altidore played for us, with any doubt. And when Josie performs at that level in the position on the pitch where he's the main striker, the whole team take advantage of that as well, because you got pressing, you got a player to play off, participating in a couple of the goals. So there is many things that maybe in other games he was unfortunately not bringing for us, but in that particular game he done it, and he helped us massively. But I like it the way that the team, this is a key thing for me, that we went there to win the game. We didn't go there, okay, let's see what happened, let's control it, let's slow down. If you see our first 3 or 4 attacks, overlapping in the inside, but getting to the box to get a penalty. The second goal, the quantity of pass on the left side, we recover the ball, we play 1-2. We play 1-2 with the Altidore for Jack Corba, who leave the middle of the park and drive forward. So we were not thinking at any time, just let's hold 0 in our goal. We went there to win the game. And when you do that and things work, like you said before, it looks like it's the perfect result. So for me, it's special. We were in a difficult situation in the league, excellent in the cup. Those little things and special games, I was always convinced that it will help the team to achieve the end goal that was staying in the Premiership.
Then the next game, we had Hull City at home, and we lost the game 2-0, and it often felt that when we picked up a positive result, we'd often kick ourselves. And, it happened with Hull earlier in the season as well. What do you think it was do you think the players couldn't keep up with the performance levels the previous week? Why do you think we struggled the next week against Hull?
I think it's too much relief. When a team is so bad for so many months and so bad is suffering, because I'm telling you, the players were suffering. It was difficult for them to keep looking at the table and always last and winning a game and still last, and we couldn't really get the head out of the water, and it was tough. When it's coming the big games, the special ones, and you win, the mental side of the player naturally goes, okay, I can relax a little bit. And football shows you that you cannot relax not one bit, because as soon as you relax a bit, boom, it's coming someone and knock you down. And that was an issue. But I have to say, it's difficult to manage that, because if you are too intense after winning the game, the players as well can lose a little bit of, believe in you, because then what is wrong with this guy? We just done the best performance and he's telling us that, we're relaxing or whatever. So you need to manage that in the best way possible. But you always have to believe in the players. And unfortunately, at that time, we were still not the team that we wanted to be, in consistency terms. But again, it's Premier League. Premier League, you think you are safe, and when you realize you go down, on the opposite. You think you're down, and nobody expects you to do what we done.
Let's talk now a little bit about the cup final. What was your feeling going into that weekend? Because obviously as a player, you've played in many cup finals. How different was it as a manager going into that sort of match?
Well, the key thing for me was we knew we were playing a very, 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 very good team. Too good, especially the way they were playing. And we learned a lot from the win at home, the 1-0, even if in the second half we defended like madness. But we knew that something like that was able to happen. But I was trying to maybe affect the game a little bit more than the other games and convince the players that was the best way. So we worked a lot in certain positioning on the pitch, in the shape, the change in the front for the first time. That as well brings something into the team. When you make that kind of decision, okay, I'm not going to play Fletcher or Altidore and Fabio Borini left. No, I'm going to play Fabio Borini front. So the team itself, the players themselves, they go, wow. And maybe someone they will go, that's interesting. Maybe another one will say, no, why? Or another one will say, oh, well, I like it. But to get the other side, you need that to work, okay? So obviously when we score, the way where we score, the way that we prepare to play the game, and that we knew we were able to take advantage of them, the players themselves, they go to another level of believing. And if you remember, before the halftime, we had a second situation with Fabio Borini, pretty similar, that if you finish in goal, maybe we're talking about a different thing now. But that's important. When you see something that can happen, when you analyze the game, when you train a little bit, you convince the players, believe me, this is going to work. And then something happened in the game that it does work. So the players, they go to an extra level. So the most difficult part for me is halftime. I have to try to make sure that we know what we go ahead, but we know as well that, there is a lot to do. Like it's a mix. You cannot be too relaxed, but you cannot be too intense, because either way you can lose the game. People was talking in the dressing room, come on, let's make sure that they need to do something incredible to beat us. And unfortunately, they done something incredible. I mean, the Yaya Toure goal is spectacular. But saying that, I think the most important thing for me about the game is 5 years after, probably 2 years ago, underground in London, I met a Sunderland fan who I hope he listens to this and remembers what he told me, because I'm going to repeat it. And he said to me, guys, hi, how are you? I'm a Sunderland fan. And we had a little chat. And he said to me, I don't know if I will ever feel the way you made me feel at halftime at Wembley. And I said to him, we lost. Typical mentality from a South American. The only thing is important in a final is winning. He said, no, I'm talking at halftime, he said to me. I don't remember feeling that way, like I felt at halftime at Wembley, winning 1-0, and looking at that and thinking, are we going to do it? Like that feeling. And that's something that is the best that can happen in a manager or a football player or anyone. When a fan can have those feelings. The feeling at halftime at Wembley, the feeling of St. James's Park 3-0, after the game, or the feeling when we got safe against West Brom. That stayed forever. Feelings, Nobody would remember how they felt that day.
Talking about the goals themselves, I remember watching at the time and wondering if Yaya Toure meant that goal. Do you think he meant it? Do you think maybe it was a cross?
I don't know. I was behind him, and when I saw the ball going over, I'm thinking, no, please. And then the second one is even incredible. It's like a volley with the outside of the foot. It flicked a little bit, Phil Barnsley, and it does like, oh no, it flicked before. It does like, it bent like outside the goal, like it's an incredible hit from Nasri. But listen, I think we play our best. That's a situation where you have to be honest with yourself and with football and with your players. We had the best shot, the best thing that we could do on the day. We couldn't do more, because that was the maximum that we were able to perform at that time. And so there is no regrets. There is the bad feeling, okay, of losing a final, but definitely no regrets. The team done everything, absolutely everything possible to win the game, and we were closer than maybe we think.
What was your feelings after the game, maybe when you had a day or two to digest, losing the cup final? Were you proud of the players? Were you disappointed? Were you a mix of the two?
I was very proud of the player. I was devastated, because I know how difficult it is to get to a cup final, because not many teams they get to cup finals quite often, meaning that you don't know how long it's going to take for you to get to another cup final. You as a manager, you as a player, you as a fan. So when those opportunities they come along, you're thinking, I have to take it. So that was the sadness or the bad feeling. But from the players, I'm telling you, I couldn't ask for more. It was really, I watched the game the other day, they showed it in the Sky. And I have to say, there is a moment that I'm thinking, oh, that's good. We played decent. We played. I think we played better than what I thought at the time. Watching it now, I know that sometimes you watch a game and you think the opposite. Oh, we were terrible. How we won the game, but in particular the final, I think we played better than what we think. There were key moments in the game that, depending on the day, it can go one way or the other. But we did perform at highest level, especially for a team being bottom of the Premier League. That's a key thing. We're talking about Premier League winners against the bottom of the team, and the difference was not that big, apart from the quality of the goal. That they were incredible.
7 days later, we played a game against Hull again, the team that was our bogey team that season, but it was an FA Cup quarter final. You've criticised at the time, and I think fans probably still, some of them feel the same, that you made maybe too many changes and the team wasn't as strong as it could have been. Do you think that that's a fair criticism, or do you think you would still do the same?
I always respect the criticism, but this is coming back to what I said to you in the beginning. You make a decision against Southampton in the FA Cup, play whatever team you want to play, you win, nobody remembers the decisions. You play the quarterfinal against Chelsea, and two of your key players, Key and Fabio Borini, they're on the bench, and nobody cares. You bring them in, one is scoring the 90th, the other one is scoring the 120th, you get through, good decision. Then you change more or less the same players against Hull, bad decision. Now, what the players, the fans, they don't know, and I respect this, and I'm not criticizing, I'm just saying, is that I saw what the final done to us. Okay? I told you before, during the process to get to the final, the team was getting better. As soon as we qualified for the final, it was nothing apart from the final. Nothing. And we were still bottom in the league. And I was thinking the same way. I'm going to use the cup to try another thing, but I'm not going to play with the possibility of staying in the Premier League. I'm not. I'm not going to do something like I play my strongest team now and I lose on Saturday. It doesn't matter because I'm going to try to get in the FA Cup final. And that was a decision that at the day against Hull, for the fans, with all respect, it was wrong. Perfect. I got no issue with that. It's just an opinion, remember. It's not the truth. It's an opinion. But I think, and I'm convinced, thanks to not getting through in the FA Cup to late stages of the Cup, help us dramatically to do the miracle. Obviously, I cannot prove it. I'm not stupid. But I didn't want to be in a situation again to be playing quarterfinal or semi-final solely of the FA Cup, and the players wanted again to have a go at the Cup because we lost the first one and forget about the league. And that's something happened a lot of the time. I mean, it happened to Wigan without going too far. Wigan under Roberto Martinez, they won a cup, they went down. Now, did the fans want that? Ask them now that they're in League One. Tell them what they prefer, to win the FA Cup and be in League One or to be in the Premiership, because we were in the Premiership. That's the main thing. The club asked me a goal. Yeah, you told me before, what did the early shorts ask you for? And I say more or less to you. In top of that, the fans, they add the Newcastle games. So my goal was stay up, beat Newcastle. The Cup was extra. Now, no one Sunderland fan, and I can have the biggest discussion with them ever, they're going to tell me that they were thinking that with a team that have 1 point from 7 games, a new manager will come and they're going to get safe and they're going to go to the 2 Cup finals. That's more than a dream. That's craziness, okay? Now, that maybe they're going to get safe, fair enough. That maybe they're going to get safe and play one final. Maybe. The 2 finals. So it's like I said to you, when you make a decision and it doesn't work, it stays in the head of everybody. When you make a similar decision and it works, nobody remembers. And that's something that, I'm not saying different decisions, I'm saying same decisions. Because my decisions in the Carling Cup and in the FA Cup were exactly the same. I swear. With the difference that semi-final, obviously, I try to play our best team because I'm United, because it's semi-final. But I don't regret doing that. And if I had to take the criticism, I will take it, because I knew that we needed to really, really put emphasis on the league, because if not, we were going down.
So after them couple of games, we went on it was the precursor to the miracle run. But to have the miracle run, you've got to have the poor run of form. So we drew against Crystal Palace, lost against Norwich, lost against Liverpool, lost against West Ham. Then we lost 5-1 away at Tottenham.
Norwich, I cannot tell you what happened at Norwich because it was scary. I think at Liverpool we played better than where we go. I think we gave him a big scare. I think they were thinking, oh, this is going to be easy. And when he scored in the second half, Anfield went quiet, dramatically quiet. Okay, so obviously they were very strange games. And we started against Tottenham decently, and we scored first, and everything looked right, and the team collapsed. So at that time, the team at Tottenham reminds me a lot the team at Swansea, my first game, a lot. Okay, a team that conceded one goal and it will disappear. So at that time, I thought this is going to need something special, and I was convinced. I think against Everton after that, we played decent and we lost because when you're at the bottom, everything goes against you. The own goal. I had a good chat with Roberto Martinez that he's playing me, when he's been in that situation with Wigan before and how they done it and things like that. And then we went into those games with probably the team itself relaxed a little bit, like saying, okay, this is going to be practically impossible. The games that we go away from home, they are for this team in particular, and the history shows that it's going to be very difficult and blah, blah, blah. And that kind of relaxing or opportunity brought something in the team. Also, Connor Wickham, we have to be honest. When you have a player that at that moment in time stand up the way that Connor did for us, for whatever reason, the right timing or opportunity, I think that helps. Because obviously on those games, you need certain players to be a top level.
Before we get into the run itself, after the 1-0 defeat at Everton, you said, there's something wrong in the football club. If I don't find it, we've got a problem. I am responsible, but who is going to be next? It could be anyone, and the club will be in the same situation. Do I have the appetite to find it? It would be lying to say I will promise we will be safe and then nothing happens and I will walk away. But I'm going to leave it a better club. We are a better club from the moment I got here. What were you sort of getting at that point?
Because at that time I knew the club very well, and I knew it was something wrong, and I was trying to convince people to help me to, change things, which is very difficult, I have to say. I found it very, very difficult to change things and mentality at the club. So when you say something that is true, unfortunately, I didn't say it for this reason, but unfortunately today it's proven, okay? Because if not, Sunderland was not in League One. You need people to support you in a certain way to change those things. To change the mentality, to change things that they were working for 20 years that they don't work anymore, to do certain things in a different way. And I thought I was convinced that if they were able to let me do certain things, I thought I had an idea that it was able to work. But okay, I knew, especially at that moment when I said it, that apart from beating Newcastle and getting the cup final, I didn't prove anything. So I want you to say it because I'm the type of person that I don't like to get out. And now telling you, I knew it. After Everton, I knew it. And you guys say to me, why you didn't say it? And so that means I told you. It's a different way of discussing that situation. One way is the one that normal people does, with you don't know if it's true or not, because they say, I knew it, but they didn't say it. There is another one, mine. I told you. I told you before it happens. Okay? So when you tell people the truth, they don't like it. People prefer that you don't say nothing, you get on with it, get on, it's a job, get on, you will get sacked, you go home, doesn't matter. No, it does matter. Because when I go to a club, it's my family and my club. The most important thing in the world. There is nothing more important than my family and my club. So whatever I need to do to help my club to be better, I will do it because it's my life. But people take it the wrong way. People take it, no, he doesn't know. He wants to change things. He wants to make it. No, I don't want to change things for me. I want to change it because I know I can help you. Because I've done it before and it worked. Okay? But obviously, you needed to do something. And before we go into the final, the miracle, when we done the miracle, I thought, okay, I think I earned it now the chance to do things at the football club. And that was my conversation in the summer with the chairman. What I didn't know, I didn't expect, is that Lee Congerton will be certain areas much, much powerful than myself. So at the end, I was not able to do it. Bottom line. And that's a problem. And that's why the club, unfortunately, is where it is now. Because they didn't really want it to go in a certain way of understanding life, standards, professionalism, way of playing, understanding football. many things that you need to have on a certain level for the club to be consistent over the year.
We've come back a little bit later towards what's happened at the club and sort of where we are now, but I want to go back to the Great Escape one. So we'll start with the Man City game. 2 minutes in, Fernandinho scores. I know me at the time, pretty much I was watching the game and I was like, right, do I turn the TV off at this point? Is it over? But stuck with it. Obviously, Connor Wickham then scores them 2 goals. It looks like we're going to head towards 3 points, and Vito Minoni drops an uncharacteristic error. We ended up drawing the game. It was another roller coaster of emotions, but what are your feelings when the game went 1-0 to Man City after 2 minutes? Did you think, oh, another horrible day at the office?
Well, to be honest, it's a picture of me, like I open up my jacket, like thinking, oh my God, here we go, so simple, so early. It's an important message on the day of Man City. When the game finished, my feelings were strange because I was like happy, but at the same time, like, wow, how close we were, to get the extra 2 points. Like a little bit of disappointed, so that's a strange feeling to go into the dressing room because, the players, they didn't deserve any kind of bad words or, anything bad or hard on them because they play a great game against the future champions, by the way, that they were the champions that year. But it was a key moment that I explained a few times now. Oscar Ustari, he was on the bench and came to me and said, Mister, can I say something? Say, be good with the players. They were outstanding. Naturally, from him. Nobody done it before. No one player came ever to tell me or to ask me, please, maybe he thought that we go in and, going crazy because we didn't win the game. I was not that in that frame of mind of going crazy because I thought the team did well. But those words from Oscar Ustari kind of pushed me to be nicer, if you can say, in a certain way. And I went to the dressing room and I was with boys. Oh, we keep proving that we can do it. We keep proving the Fulham game, the Newcastle game, the semi-finals, even the final. We keep proving that we can. I don't understand why the West Ham games, the Tottenham game. How is that possible? How we can be so different? So it was an important end of the game meeting. That one because the players, they left confident. We can say. Now we knew that we were going to Chelsea. That Chelsea was unbeaten at home against Mourinho. Many things that they were in there that they was probably thinking, yeah, but we still needed to go to Chelsea now. But I think the game at City gave us something to be able to keep believing.
You mentioned there the Chelsea game. Again, we went down early goal. It was Samuel Eto'o. Connor Wickham gets an equaliser. And the game's pretty evenly poised at that point. And then Josie Altidore wins a penalty. I think it's still a debate whether or not it was a penalty. I'd be interested to see whether or not you think it was a penalty or not. But
I watched it 100 times. I still don't know if it's a penalty because I don't know the rules. If I step on your leg and you slide on the floor and then you bring me down because I stamp in you, it's a foul or no? I don't know. I had to say I don't know. On the day after the game, it was Glenn Hoddle and Jamie Redknapp commentating on TV, and one was saying it's a penalty, one was saying it's no. Sorry. So very difficult. And that's the guys that for me or against me, I always go with the referee because if I don't know after watching so many times, how can you be sure live, So when it go for you or against you in those cases, you have to take it. And again, both ways. I think there is 2 things to say about that game. Then the team that was playing at that time, that it was practically the same until the end of the season, convinced themselves that it was possible. Then was the day that famous banner that I go at home, the Gus miracle happened. I got it at home, by the way. The fans, they gave me as a present in the corner of Stamford Bridge. Show the players that it was possible. We knew, with all respect to Cardiff, I swear to God, we knew that somehow against Cardiff we will get the 3 points. Somehow. It didn't matter how, but we knew that we were in a kind of momentum that it was impossible to Cardiff to get something from us. The thing was afterwards, and the rest of the teams always that they were playing as well. How many points they will make, how many games they will win, because we always were depending on Norwich and company no winning games. So it was a reinforce on on the possibility and the belief that we had probably at the end of December and beginning of January. The team went back to that togetherness of playing in a certain way and being solid, but at the same time going forward and creating chances.
What did Jose Mourinho say to you after the game? Was he magnanimous? He always comes across as that, or could you tell he was very disappointed to have lost that home record that he treasured as Chelsea manager?
No, to me, we had already, because that was our third game, no, against Mourinho that year, no. We lost in the league at home, a crazy game, I think it was. It was that year, the 4-3 or the 4-2, in the quarter final. So I remember that he said, if you keep it like that, you're gonna get safe. And then he told me that something like that. I don't know exactly the same words, but yeah, he was disappointed, especially referee, his assistant went crazy and he got sent off. I think most people at that time, they were thinking only about Chelsea and Liverpool, Man City, the league. Nobody was paying attention to us. You understand what I mean? It was like we were there just to enjoy ourselves. And nobody realized at that time that we went there because we needed to get safe. We were not in a park playing with kids, friendly game. So until we didn't get safe, I don't think that people put in consideration why the team was so tough to play against on that day, like a proper. Because we were playing for our lives. But like I said, after that, there is a change on the mind of the players. And probably we were, if we needed 3 or 4 or 5 more games, that we were able to win it with any doubt.
Yeah, because obviously next was Cardiff at home, and that was a comfortable 4-0 win. And it felt like that was the day where everyone went, yeah, okay, miracle's pretty much ticked off now. And then we followed that up with a 1-0 win away at Old Trafford. What were them 2 games like? Because again, 2 clean sheets. It must have been good for you to see that the team was really, following your playing style. We were playing very attractive football as well. But what were your feelings after them 2 games?
Look, the first one, like I said to you, against Cardiff, I knew we would win again because the team was, wow. The team was focused. It was in. It was after we left Stamford Bridge, they were desperate to play. When you want to play a game so much that you you're going to give more than you have. And so I was calm in that game. Against United, it was a strange game. I'll tell you why. They just changed the manager the previous week. They won under Ryan Giggs like 4-0 or something like that. People keep remembering me 40-something years of Sunderland without winning in Old Trafford in the league. And I'm thinking, Mamma mia, why they keep, like always negative. That something that we don't need now is any negativity around us. But I thought we went there with such between calmness and confidence. I remember the team being at Old Trafford completely, I won't say in control, like you are a spectacular team, but completely on the game. When you are comfortable, not winning comfortable, playing the game. I thought the team was decent, was difficult to play against. We scored the goal. We had 2-3 chances in the second half with Borini and Marcos Alonso. We kept, like I said to you, we kept going forward. Because a team playing for relegation, yeah, after you score the 1-0, 99% of the teams, they will go back, yeah, 5-4-1, and see you later trying to defend for their life. We were not. We went there and we kept attacking, and Marcos Alonso kept overlapping, and we kept going forward, and we kept creating and making sure that Man United knew they're going to play. They're not going to give us the ball. So it was something strange. So for me, it was a confirmation. And to be honest, I had one problem that day. I thought we were safe because I was 99% that Chelsea would beat Norwich the following day. And the next day when Chelsea didn't beat Norwich and we needed a point against West Brom, that changed my mood a little bit. And the worst game in terms of nerves for me, counting every single game of my time at Sunderland, counting the cup finals, counting the Newcastle games, it was West Brom at home. I don't know why. I cannot explain it. Probably, I have to say, it was because, like after what we done, now we need to be West Brom. Come on, let's not mess around now. So that was my feeling. I was very nervous that game, I have to be honest.
The West Brom game itself, the atmosphere at the stadium that night was electric. We won the game, we were 2-0 up after half an hour. Were you relaxed once we were 2-0 up? Were you waiting for that last 90th minute?
No, like I said to you, I was confident on the team because of the way we were playing. I knew that we will start the game well, but in games things happen. Last man red card or a mistake or a bad decision from the referee, whatever, it can happen in a game. So I was asking, I don't know if I said it at the time, but probably I did. I want a normal game. Normal means 11v11, no mistakes, no big things, just normal. If it's normal, we got a chance, great chance, because we were on fire. I remember in the second half, the stadium going crazy, non-stop singing, and me watching the clock 100 times in 45 minutes, at least. I couldn't stop looking at the seconds going back, it never ended. I mean, it was long as you can imagine for me. But that okay, when you beat Newcastle is extra, when you get to a final as well. But in terms of achievements, I think that time was my best time at the club. My goal, my end, it was achieved. It was done. And I remember talking to Short Ellis the week after and I said, Chairman, let me go on holidays. I don't want to talk about football for a week. I don't want to see anyone. I don't want to see one shirt. I don't want nothing. I just want to disappear for a week, relax, enjoy my moment, and then I come back and we go again, like crazy. But it was a special moment. I wanted to stay on the pitch forever, to be honest. We had a great night that night. We had a great time with the staff and the players, and we were ready to do something special the following year. That was the key. By the way, I can tell you now, that day I knew that we were losing against Swansea. 100%. Forget it. 100%. Okay? But we didn't care. We needed to be professional and nothing else. But when you do something that special, obviously the last game is an extra one.
So looking now into your second season, the summer transfer window was interesting. I think most fans were on board with the signings. Jack Rodwell came in, England international. Patrick Van Aanholt was bought for a small fee, but obviously we've seen him blossom into the player he is today. Will Buckley came in from Brighton, Billy Jones, Jody Gomez, Costel Pantilimon all came in, and Santiago Regini was brought in permanently. We also brought in Sebastian Quatez and Ricky Alvarez. Were you happy with the window, or do you feel like there was maybe a player that got away that you really wanted?
It was a strange window because it was late. I didn't like it. I always believe, and I'm still believing, and I try to say to everyone I work with, if you do your job very good in the summer, the season after is very easy. If you do it good in the summer, maybe it's all right. But if you don't do the job right in the summer, you're gonna pay the price. I think we were slow. I think we were too when you want to do certain things in a certain way too dramatically without having flexibility and without trying to be more clear. Like I said, in May when we signed the new contract, I was convinced that we have much power, if you can say, to change things at the club that I did have in the second year. And that this is not a criticism because it's not my club. So here, the one who makes the decision about who does what is the chairman, and then the CEO, and then the sport director, and then the manager, no? And everyone got a role, and you need to obey the message from the top. But in football, the only way to earn that power is showing. And I thought that after the season we had, I earned the sum of that possibility. Unfortunately, I was wrong. And little things changed at the club, apart from the sport director. Mentality the same way of bringing the players, same way in the second team, same way in the academy, same people at the club. I mean, too many things that were the same. So the only thing that was the club doing is another season, not learning from the past, not trying to change things like I want you to change. Listen, I repeat, whoever is listening to me, I'm putting myself in the other side. So I'm not trying to say my way. I understand the club got the responsibilities and do it the way they want to do it. And I don't know if what I'm saying to you will work. I promise you that you were not only one. I can promise you that because I know, because we've done it. The problem is that when you still believe in that the situation is easy and that you're going to bring players and you're going to change managers and you're going to get safe. Because remember, when I left, okay, it's coming Dick Advocat and everybody got in love with Dick Advocat because they got safe, yeah? And they convinced his wife to stay. And we love him to pieces, but after 8 games in the following season, yeah, everybody wants him out. So where was the love for him and his wife? gone. And then some other guy comes and saves the club and goes to the national team. And then you get David Moyes, which is proven, manager in the Premier League, and you go down. So that's showing you that what I said after the game at Everton, that you told me earlier, it was the truth. But unfortunately, when somebody says the truth to people, they don't like it. Simple as that. It's not difficult. People prefer me to lie and tell you how good you are than to tell you the truth. And then it's incredible that things need to go bad for me or whoever say the truth to tell why it's working. You know, when Niall Quinn was a manager, if I don't remember wrong, he said something. They gremlins, no, in the club. They like we got gremlins coming from the club, like it was something. It's exactly what I say with different words. Maybe he learned in Ireland, I learned in Uruguay. He say gremlins. I say there is something wrong. I think gremlins are something wrong. No, I don't think they are very nice. But anyway, now he criticized me for saying there is something wrong at the club because he was out. But when he was in, there were gremlins. So that shows that Niall is trying to be politically correct, trying to be nice when it suits him, and when it doesn't suit him, he's in charge and he cannot win a football game. There is gremlin. I'm not. I'm telling you the same thing when I'm there. There are when I'm not there. It was something wrong at the club, and you pay the price. And I told you a year later, and I told you when they went down, and I told you in Championship, and I told you after seeing the series, Sunderland Till I Die, which the first one was incredibly emotional for me, absolutely emotional. It was magnificent. It was class. It showed exactly what the club is and what it means to the fans of Sunderland. The second was an acting role. It was like watching an American series, not a football series. And unfortunately, that's the problem. That the most important thing in a football club, is what happened on the pitch. So you have to mix it between the players and the fans. Obviously, the manager needs to pick the players because it's the one that deals every day. You can be very nice and say that the fans are the most important. Now, the situation is they are as much as important with each other. You cannot have a club only with fans, and you cannot have a club only with players. Simple. Now, the rest, we pass. No? We pass by. How many managers they pass by in Sunderland? Hundreds. Still the fans. Yeah, the fans are still there, no? The managers go pass by, but the fans are still there.
Yeah.
So when somebody is still there all the time, that's important. Simple. That's the most important thing. Then when you are a manager and you depend on the players, I think the fans, they need to realize that they also depend on the player. I'm sure that most of the fans, they would love to play, but because you cannot play, whatever is happening on the pitch is what you get from, like the happiness or the sadness. So the players is your most valuable thing after. And I don't think that we believe, and still don't believe that Sunderland. They still believe in that it's more important the fitness or the mental side or the organization or the CEO or the owner or the chairman or no, gentlemen, no. You know who plays the game? Who makes people happy? Players. And then fans that they are there all the time. It doesn't matter in which division. So the relation between the fans and the players needs to be spot on, the strongest that you can get. And when both are honest with each other, there is only one way. You have to have a consistency because you're going to have an understanding and a commitment. And during the time that you don't do that, the things happen. Like it happened to Sunderland. It did happen to Leeds in the past, no? How many years away? Well, but that's the situation. It's not difficult. Now, when I said it before, I was crazy. I was going against everybody. I was blaming everybody. I was not blaming anybody because the only one who paid the price was me. Yeah, getting sacked. Okay, you get paid or you don't get paid, but at the end of the day, you get sacked, and it's not nice. It's one of the lower moments in your career when you get sacked because you want to prove that you are the right person there. Now, it didn't work. 100 excuses, like I said. I'm not going to say it to you because I don't like excuses. What I like is when I say things before they happen. Simple. And with the things that I said before they happen, it happens. There is no way you can go back and try to challenge that. Now, I would like people to go back to when I say those things and tell me the truth about how they felt about my words. Thank you, because that's the problem. At that time, to go against someone is very easy, but we've been in football. I've been inside football club. And sometimes you know certain things that need to work in a way for a football club to work. And unfortunately, they were not the right things or something.
So take ourselves back to the summer of 2014. How did you look at the summer as a chance? I mean, you said you felt the business came in a little bit late, which will have impacted the next question, which is implementing your style of play. Did you feel that you were able to do that successfully over the summer, or would you have liked a few more weeks?
No, we didn't have anything. We went to, my part of training is very simple. We do a couple of weeks in in Sunderland to get the base aerobically and technically to go somewhere and have a stage like we done in Portugal, and start working morning and afternoon on the tactical side and the way we want to play and the understanding and many things that you need to work. So the sooner you get the player, the better. And I remember playing my first game in Portugal with Mavrayas as a right back, because we didn't have a right back because Jones was injured at the time, and we didn't have another one. Without going too far, we started the league without a right back, because in my first league game at West Brom, Jones was injured and we didn't have a right back. And if I remember bad, I played West Brown right back. No. Now, if you tell me you fan that is normal that a Premiership club with the money that is involved in the Premiership club, you can start the Premier League without right back, playing right back, I would say to you it's embarrassing. Okay?
Yeah. No, I would agree.
Okay, but who pays the price? That's the problem. You know who is standing there? You know who was standing there when we lost 8-0? Me. I'm standing there in the touchline, taking everything. And I need to talk to the press. And I need to give explanations that there are none. What explanation you can give after a result like that? There is so many things. Are you responsible? Fair enough. I take responsibility. But don't give me the chance to go back and tell you all the things that we done in the summer wrong. All of them. Okay? That influence to that conclusion. Because I put the players on the pitch, I promise you this. I put the players on the pitch. I make sure that between the club and myself, we do everything possible to put the players on the pitch without having the chance to give you one excuse. Because football players, we are like that. As soon as we lose a game, who was to blame? Oh, the training pitch is too hard. Oh, the training pitch is too soft. My legs are tired. Oh, the food at the training ground is not good. Oh, the bus is an old bus. Oh, we didn't flew over. We didn't have a private plane. We had a bus. Oh, the food at the hotel. Oh, the bed at the hotel wasn't good. Oh, the manager made a bad change. Oh, the manager didn't pick the right team. That's normal. That's normal. Eh? That's me when I was a football player. So I'm not blaming anyone. I'm saying how we are. So my job is to put that football player on the pitch in a way that he cannot come out and say, but no. No, because everything was done in a manner, in a standard of a Premiership club. So you got no excuses. You need to go and perform. And if you don't, it's your responsibility. So if I'm asking that to my players, yeah, I would like the club to do the same with me. Not to give me one excuse. No one. Now, when you give someone 100 excuses, it's too easy. Because then you release, yeah, I didn't have this, I didn't have that, I didn't ask for this, I asked for this and they brought me this, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm not that type of guy. So I took it, and then you pay for it. So sometimes people will say to you, why you didn't say before? Well, every time I open my mouth at Sunderland, it was a mess, because you cannot say the truth. So sometimes you need to keep things for yourself, okay? That it doesn't help, because now I cannot tell you those, because I don't like to tell you things now without saying to you before, because now it's too easy. You know, we say with the newspaper of Monday, we are all very good. Yeah, Monday newspaper is easy after the game is being played. I like to tell you things on the moment, but unfortunately, it wasn't the situation that I was expected or that I thought I earned it with my work, with the players' help, and with the fans' help, and what we achieved the year before. But it didn't work at all. I think we had better games my first season than the second one, which is not normal, as you can imagine. It should be normal with the players that you try to bring in.
I mean, that second season, we drew a lot of games that year. I don't know if that's something that you can put your finger on as to why, but it felt like we were very hard to beat, but we also struggled to finish games off. Was there a particular reason, do you think, why maybe you couldn't, was it a lack of quality in the final third, why we weren't able to win as many games and we drew so many?
The problem that the change changed dramatically. That's what people doesn't know. For example, we lost Phil Barnsley. Yeah, he went.
Yeah.
Then I thought at that time to sign Marcos Alonso was an easy decision. It was easy, no, common sense, not even discussions. I mean, I was expecting the club to capture me. I said, Marcos is in, he's done. You don't need to ask for those things. Fabio Borini is done. You don't need to ask for him. Then we can have a discussion about Key, yeah, because Key at that time, and I can give you a certain information, they were saying a price that we were not able to pay. Okay, But then we paid the price for Charleroi. So were we able or we were not? I just want to explain. Or they are different pounds, Once they are 50-pound notes, millions. The other one, they are 20-pound notes, millions. So we don't have the 20 pounds notes, but we got the 50. I mean, for me, there were things that were common sense. The players that they perform at a certain level and give us consistency the previous year, can we get them? Let's get them first and most. That's common sense. So which one we can change? Well, the ones that didn't play. Or the ones that finished contract and didn't play. Or the ones that don't want to stay, like Nacho Scocco didn't want to stay. We tried to convince him. He didn't want to stay. Fair enough. See you later. No? Now, what you cannot do is to start from zero. What you just did with Di Canio, what you just did the year before with Martin O'Neill, what you're going to do next year with Dick Advocat, what you're going to do the next year with David Moyes, and that's how you go down. So that's what I didn't want, to put it simple and clear. I didn't want to start from zero. I didn't want to have the base of the team that finished the season playing a certain level. If it was possible, obviously. If you tell me we got no money, okay, no money. That is a different thing. But we had the money, did we? Certain money. I think we spent 15 million. We didn't spend too much of that, but it was certain money. So we were able, if we wanted to bring Fabio Borini, Mr. Key, Marcos Alonso, minimum. Plus Santiago Vergini, that was easy because it was super cheap. And then start thinking about the other positions. But no. Why? Because we changed the director, the sport director came, had a different idea, needed to merge sometimes. And then when everything starts from zero, you cannot keep starting from zero. Starting from zero doesn't bring any consistency. Okay? And the excuse is, because it didn't work, we start from zero again. And because it didn't work, we start from zero. Well, it didn't work, no, it did work. You got safe, you beat massive teams away from home, you went to a cup final. So why it didn't work? Going back, which is the best season of Sunderland in the last 10 years, 15 years? Well, it's simple. So at least try to be consistent with this best season. Now, all those things I was saying inside, that doesn't help you. Again, you say the truth. Nobody wants to hear the truth. Nobody. I'm not going to say name, but nobody. So you cannot go through life accepting things and saying, it doesn't matter. No, it does matter, because the day I got sacked. I had to pack everything with my family and get down to London, like you've been, pushed away from something that you thought it would be your place for the next 5 years. But it's football, and some people are talking naturally. I don't, because it hurts, and it hurts what happened after. Obviously, more than that. That's what I told you, that the first season of Sunderland in Canada is incredible. Absolutely incredible. It's amazing to watch. I recommend it to anyone, anywhere in the world who wants to know about football, and especially Sunderland.
Now, I want to touch on the Newcastle win at St James's Park in the December of that year, 1-0, and that is, famous for you and your assistant, being on your knees on the touchline, celebrating the Sunderland fans, 90th minute winner. That was probably your final sort of big moment as Sunderland manager. Is that fair to say? Would you agree with that?
Yes. Yeah, but I like I said to you, things happen for a reason, and they've been happening for 2 or 3 months. You don't get to the second moment in 1 second. Things that develop slowly into something that is going to happen. I think that game is, again, another key moment in my, totally different to the other ones. The game is tight, it's difficult, anything can happen at any time. It could be any goal. But obviously, away from home against the biggest rivals, last minute, scoring the winning goal. Oh my God, dream, no? Absolutely fantastic. I was still believing on earning a little bit of my power, if you can say. When we push for Jermaine Defoe to come and do a deal with Josie Altidore and really trying to manage everything possible to achieve things in an easier manner. Bringing as cheap as possible Liam Bricka to help us with the center midfielder after we lost Key. It was only Lee Cattermole, and it wasn't the same having someone to compete with him, and so many issues. Okay, if you remember, we signed Revelier.
Yeah, from Lyon.
It was 34, 35, absolutely top professional, because we were trying to find solutions from where you cannot find it. So it became more and more difficult to really achieve, things like, okay, if you sign 5 players in a season, 4 has to be spot on. If you make more than one mistake, you got a problem. Now, if you make 3 or 4 from 5, you're dead. You go down. So the risk of the signings, they're becoming more and more difficult to take, because it was always a hard work to get the right player, because of the money, because of the situation of the club, because of what's going on, because of everything. So it become more and more difficult, and that's what probably later on David Moyes paid the price, going down.
What was so special about getting Jermaine Defoe at Sunderland? Because I can imagine as a manager, that's the kind of signing which really gets you excited.
I knew him from Tottenham. I knew how incredible he is in front of goal. I knew that getting him, we needed to start working on changing the shape of the team, because we needed to play with 2 strikers and no more than 4-3-3. I knew that will take certain time, so we done a few sessions. The players, they didn't even realize that, by the way. That was a funny thing. I was trying things in training that to one day get to the possibility to say, okay, we're going to play now, or either 4-4-2 or 5-3-2, probably 5, because with Patrick Van Aanholt, it was only way to play 5, and 4 is, his strength is going backwards. So it was better in a 5. So we needed to work on those things, because it's not just you get a player up front and system and say, okay, all the best, boom, new system, play. But we didn't have the right amount of time to get into that new shape, if we can call it, because the results were so bad that we couldn't practically recover. I mean, if you think about it, we got beat by QPR, and then when Aston Villa came, we were done and dusted, really.
Looking at that, I mean, we beat Burnley at home 2-0, and then after that point, drew against Swansea, lost against QPR. There was the Bradford game on that pitch, which I don't want to call a football pitch, but it was. There was a West Brom game, went away at Manchester United and lost, drew away at Hull, and then the 4-0 defeat against Aston Villa. Did you feel like the end was coming at that point, or were you surprised when, they decided to make a change?
To be honest, there were no rumors. Sometimes when you're in a job, sometimes there is rumors. Sometimes they are not. I was feeling that something was not the same inside the club daily. So there were many issues around the club as well. We went through the situation with Adam Johnson. We were through certain losses that we were not expecting to lose, like the QPR game. So obviously it was a little bit of tension. After Aston Villa game, it was so unusual, from us, because you said in the beginning we were not winning games in the beginning, but we were very, very difficult to beat. That conceding 4 in the first half, if I'm not wrong, it's like saying we gave up, something like that. What happened there? What was that? So when the news on Monday, when they called me to tell me that they would change the manager, it wasn't a big surprise. It wasn't, okay? And sometimes I say to the clubs, I think it's a good decision, even if it's against me. I didn't say that, but I mean it now, no? Because you need something to change, because there is something that is not working. And if you don't react quickly, maybe you go down, if you know what I mean. Even if we were not on the bottom 3, the situation was very tight. So it's even if it's disappointing, you understand why. I don't know if I explain myself. You understand why they need to change, okay? Which is a shame, because I swear I changed flat for a house. I was, bringing even my dogs up from London, everything, because I was thinking, okay, we can make something big in here. But it wasn't possible. Like I said, I'm not going to put any excuses now.
How were you told that you were let go? Did the owner get in touch with you, or was it someone else?
Yeah, the owner, yes. After training, Monday morning, they called me to go to the board, and I knew. When you go up, you know.
And Dick Advocat was appointed just the following day. Did that make you feel a bit disappointed? Because obviously you imagine there must have been talking to Dick Advocat possibly even before the Aston Villa game. Were you upset by that, or do you just accept that's a part of the game?
To be honest, it's part of the game. I understand. What I would prefer is if after the game Aston Villa, they think they need to change. If I was in the other side, if I put myself in the other side, in the club side, I will sack you Saturday night. I won't wait until I talk to someone and I know he's coming to tell you. You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the club needs to wait to get in contact with someone and arrange things to sack the manager, because that kind of creates this situation that you're asking me that is happening too many times in football. For example, I'll make you an example. I remember one day there were rumors about Jokanovic maybe leaving Fulham. My agent called me and said, do you want me to call Fulham? I said, no. He said, why? I know Jokanovic. I play with him. He's a friend of mine. You cannot call. I don't want anyone to, any time in his life, Joka to think that was trying to get his job behind his back. Yeah. I would prefer to call Joka myself and say, Joka, listen, just in case for you to know, I'm going to put my name forward just in case, like something like that. I won't do it anyway. And we didn't do it. And the following week, they sacked Jokanovic at 11 o'clock, and at 11:05, Ranieri was the manager. And then you ask yourself, I was late. Maybe I was an idiot, Yeah. But well, so what I do, and I can tell everybody listening, if I know the manager well, who is at the club, I don't let my agent to talk to them. If I don't know him personally, or if I don't care, then it's my agent the one who needs to talk. So I'm not getting involved. But I think it's part of the game now. And for example, the Di Canio situation, no. The Di Canio situation, my first contact with Eli Short, it was during the week after when he got sacked. So before they play Man United, I think it was. But it was already gone. Brighton as well, IK Athens as well. Betis, no, it was during the manager, but the manager declared he was leaving at the end of the season. So I went there the last week of the previous season. Bordeaux, the person who contacted me said, if we lose Sunday, maybe we change manager. They maybe always help. And they lost, and then on Monday they called me, and I was on holidays. I flew back from South America to France. So, like I said, it's depending, but it's part of the game. I think it's a job of the agents. But if I had a relation with the sport director, the ones I would love to have, that it's not easy, of very close relation with the sport director, very close. Like I call it like if it's part of the family. I would love the sport director to come and say, who called me? The agent of whatever. So when you meet him, you can tell him, you were looking for my job, eh? But no, normally the sport directors, they don't tell you that. They keep it for themselves.
So, final thoughts before I let you go, Gus. It's just over 5 years since you've been Sunderland manager. How do you look back on that time? And in terms of your experience as a player and a manager, where does your time at Sunderland rank?
Well, first and most, I without being any kind of big head, I'm proud because I achieved what they asked me to achieve. Okay, that's key. I think people take that very lightly. It's key. They asked me stay up and a little bit more, beat Newcastle, and we played Newcastle 3 times and we stay up. So and we left. Okay, like I said to you, probably deserve it, but that's football when it doesn't work. So, it was the year and a half that they had as a coach. I'm talking now, not as a player. As a coach, that had more repercussions worldwide. Being a manager in the Premier League is incredible. Everyone in the world is watching Premier League. So when you do something important like we did at Sunderland in my first year, the repercussions are tremendous. I mean, incredible. You cannot imagine. People from all over the world will contact you because they watch the game. And obviously it's top. You are a privileged person. You are one of 20. When you're a football player in the Premier League, you are one of 500. But manager, you are one of 20 only. There is 20 places. You can be one of the 20 or you are not in. So it's a very privileged time. But I think the key is that, we done luckily or whatever you call it or proudly what we've been asked to.
Sunderland's current situation, I don't know if you keep track of what's happening at the club at the minute, but the owners are trying to sell, and there's now been a sort of portrayal of the fans that they're difficult. And do you think that Sunderland fans can be difficult, or do you think that that's just a deflection tactic to take blame off the current owners?
I think with the Sunderland fans, they are very passionate, and with passionate people, you need to be honest. Okay, you cannot say everything. It's true. I agree with that. You cannot tell them everything that happened at the club, but there is certain things that you need to be more direct with the Sunderland fans. I think they will understand, and if they don't understand, then they will, like you say just now, they are the problem. So they shouldn't. I think the Sunderland fans, what they want is that honesty of everything is going on around the club, and knowing that they need football at the city. They do need that. So you need to do everything possible to create the team that they deserve, because it's a different city without football, with any doubt. So I will be just straightforward. Like I said to you, spend the time that you need to spend, pick a strategy. Okay, your goal is to get up, a strategy, then the people to make that strategy possible, and hold it. Consistency is bringing with work and with the consistency with the work done many months with the same people, and not changing owners, changing coaches, and changing players, and changing owners. And that's impossible. That is the worst way to get back.
What's your assessment about the direction that Sunderland have headed in, and not even since you've necessarily left, but the last few years when we fell at the Championship and we've fallen in League One, and where we didn't even get in the playoffs this past season? Can you believe that the club's in this situation, or did you see this potentially happening when you were manager here?
Well, I had to be honest. I didn't see it going down to League One, because the team that went down, if you look at the squad, it was good enough to top half. Okay, that's my opinion. It didn't work for whatever reason. Football is incredible. Yeah, you can have, you pick the best manager in the world and you put him in a football team, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, for many reasons. Okay, but I knew that they were taking too many risks to go down to the Championship. I knew it, and I told them. So when it happened, it was no surprise for me when Sunderland went down to the Championship. I didn't expect the second year going down straight away to League One. That was a shock. It was disappointed. And I think it was a consequence of all the years they were doing so badly that they didn't realize that when it hit you harder. Because you don't want to see the truth, and so it was no recovery. It was no change of mentality. They were still thinking that we are Sunderland, nothing can happen to us. Yes, it does. So the second year, the Championship year going down, it was a shock. It was sad. It was disappointed. I didn't expect that. But the first one, yes, it was coming. It was a matter of time. The first one. Yes, I told you before I left, and I can tell you now, it was a matter of time.
What would you do differently if you were the manager of Sunderland in League One? Obviously, you've been at this level before. What do you need in a squad to get out of this division?
Well, you need convincement between the staff and the players. Convincement means convincement. They need to be all in the same direction. And you need to have a way of playing. Whatever way you choose, but it has to be clear. You can pick powerful players and make it difficult for the opposition through, crosses or through low ball, whatever you have. There is West Brom went up this year without being, for me, the best team in the Championship, but they were very, very strong. Very difficult to play against West Brom. Or then you have a system which is different to the rest, like Leeds, when it's completely different, and it was maintained for 2 years, even if they didn't achieve in the first year. Yeah. They maintain that, and they try to improve it a little bit. So you have to have a way. And when I look the 2 or 3 games I looked Sunderland this past year, it looked to me that it was another team in League One. A few names, but another team. It's not like I say, okay, Sunderland played this way, clear. And now we're going to add, because if I say to you, maybe you can tell me better, you watch probably more games than me. What was the idea of Sunderland this year? Counter-attack football, pressing high, keeping the ball, long ball, second ball, set pieces, defensive. Which one was?
I would probably say it was a tried 3 at the back, wing backs, long ball, played with a target man. It was inconsistent. That would be the word I'd use.
Now, that's perfect. That's something spectacular for me, information. Because now, the players that you need to bring, they need to be specific players to play that system. Okay? So now, if you bring me a fullback who goes up and down and is good in 1v1 situation and good crosses, I say to you, well done, Sunderland. If you bring a top striker who can hold the ball and for that division score 20 goals, I would say to you, very good, Sunderland. Now, if you're going to give me a fullback that doesn't go up, so then you sign in a fullback for no reason whatsoever. So that's the difference, to make sure that you bring in specific qualities to play in a specific system who is going to be maintained to get the consistency to go up. That's a football club. We can talk after the season starts.
Yeah.
and see what is done.
Last one. If things changed in the future, would you ever consider being a Sunderland manager again, or do you think you've had enough time in the madhouse of the Northeast?
No doubt, because when it's passion behind a club like the fans they have, is perfect for us. And there is something that we didn't finish. Like I said to you, it took me a year and a half to convince the Brighton players that it was a different way of playing football. And when I left, they love it. Okay? They love it to a point that now they need to bring certain coaches that they play a certain way, because they understand football that way now, the Brighton fans. And when you achieve that with the fans, it's the best feeling for a manager, especially because it worked then. If it doesn't work, no. But what I mean, I know it can work. But for that, you need, like I said to you, certain group of players with certain atmosphere at the club, believe, understanding, the second team playing in a similar way. No, exactly the same ideas with the players, making sure that we know, the transition, and signing very, very specific players per positions to play that kind of football you want to play. And I'm sure you're going to get better. And if it's not enough, next year you go up. I put my money on it. But the problem is that it's not up to me to do it. It's up to the club. They have to want to do it in a certain way. Not just say, do it. That's the main thing.
Do you still believe in miracles, Gus?
Well, for sure. I was not a believer. I was not a believer in miracles, because, I know that sometimes, like they say, sometimes it happens, but I keep looking back. I keep looking about that video that is in YouTube, the miracle, and you keep looking about who we play against, and you keep looking at that table, how we go getting up, and the rest, it don't move. Do you see that the rest, it looks like the rest of the teams, they don't play. It's only us playing and adding. I know we had a couple of more games, but it's like we adding, and we get through, and we finish 14th. 14th.
Yeah.
I mean, if you tell me after Everton that we will finish 14th, like I said to the guy Sky, I mean, you're drinking bad. I mean, you're completely gone, drunk, because it was no way that was possible to achieve. But miracle happens.
Gus, thanks so much for giving us nearly 2 hours of your time. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you, though.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and all the best. You got me here for anything, okay? We have a chat when the season starts.
Perfect.
I know that things can only get better.